positions. operations. activated. Sighted on the horizon. All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
Taking the lead. Our victory is in sight.
Smoke screen set. Torpedo support. Torpedo support. Engine boost activated. Torpedo support.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
Torpedo support. Torpedo support. Torpedo support.
The enemy is about to win.
Engine boost deactivated.
Battle ends in 5 minutes. The enemy
Smoke generator started. Roger. Enemy force detected. Smoke generator started. Engine boost deactivated. I need intelligence data. Smoke screen set.
So he won't go down as being remembered as the tough guy. So what was his calling card as a player?
Well, I think the first thing you have to say, this guy exemplifies class. Just an unbelievable human being. But the way he played the game, the way he studied it, he was so efficient, and he made everything look so easy. So there's people out there that think that he couldn't skate as fast as the best players. That's so far from the truth. I mean, he was such a great skater. He had an incredible shot, like Al McInnes. He always found a way to get it through to the net. This guy he made the game, which is awfully difficult to do as a defenseman. He made the game look easy. And when he was on the ice, everybody else was calm. And he was a great guy in the locker room. And I really am, I feel blessed. I played my last season with the Red Wings, and he was my captain. And this guy's unbelievable. And just watching him there, you can just tell what a nice guy he is, and the respect he has for the Detroit Red Wings. Mr. Illich there talking, they're all broken up because they just love this.
Some names transcend the sport itself. They become woven into the fabric of hockey history, carved into the memories of everyone who witnessed them. Nicklas Lidstrom is one of those names. In 1989, the Detroit Red Wings made a choice that would alter their destiny and fundamentally reshape what the hockey world believed a defenseman could be. With the 53rd overall pick in the third round, they quietly selected a Swedish teenager. What happened next defied every expectation. 2 decades of near-flawless excellence followed. 264 goals, 878 assists, 1,142 points that obliterated the traditional boundaries of defensive play. 7 Norris trophies as the league's premier defenseman, second only to Bobby Orr in NHL history. 4 Stanley Cup championships that validated everything.
For Nick Lidstrom retiring, who I'll never forget the first day he showed up. I mean, this guy was as classy, especially. He showed up with a guy by the name of Pear Juice, if you remember that name. And both of them were prospects, Nick obviously being the prospect. But I told you the Brian Murray story about Brian phoning me. I get a call at 2 a.m. Brian Murray is in Sweden watching our prospects play. And he phones me at 2 a.m. He said, Doug, you're not going to believe this. He said, I just saw our prospect, Nick Lidstrom. He had been drafted prior to Brian and I going to Detroit a year or so. He said, you're not going to believe this guy. He has a chance to be better than Al McInnes. And I said to Brian, this is 2 a.m, I'm in bed in Detroit. I said, Brian, have another beer and let's talk tomorrow. In other words, are you serious? We've got a prospect that can be as good as Al McInnes? Well, Nick came over the next year, or Nick came that year, and how good has he been?
When pressure mounted and entire seasons hung in the balance, he delivered. Coaching staffs evolved, lineups transformed, entire generations of players came and went. But ask anyone who shared the ice during his era, teammates, opponents, legends in their own right, the response never wavers. And that's precisely where our story unfolds. These testimonies weren't manufactured for highlight reels. They weren't polished sound bites crafted for post-game interviews. They emerged from locker room conversations and candid podcasts, from Hall of Famers' years into retirement, from competitors who gained nothing by exaggeration and had every reason to speak truth.
Player from any decade I would like to play with, it's not too long ago, would be Nick Lidstrom, just because I grew up watching him.
One NHL player that I would have liked to play with is Nick Lidstrom.
I would have loved to play with Nicklas Lidstrom.
He retired before I got the opportunity to play against him, so he would probably be my answer.
You know, when he was playing for Detroit, they played Vancouver in the playoffs a couple of times when I was growing up in Vancouver, and I just remember him being dominant.
Just a childhood worth of memories back. I mean, they were so good for such a long period of time.
He's a great defenseman, and I think it would have been cool to be partners.
Would have been pretty easy playing behind him, I think.
I mean, he was the best defenseman in the league for a long stretch.
Because he was, so good defensively, one of the best defensemen of all time.
I don't think that's really disputed at all. Yeah, he's just a special player and someone I was very fortunate enough to be able to watch growing up.
Lidstrom played defense, but that label barely captures the reality. He didn't merely excel at a position, he reimagined what that position could accomplish. His positioning was geometrically perfect, his decision-making was instantaneous, and his ability to control the tempo of an entire game, that was something textbooks couldn't teach and film sessions couldn't replicate. What you're about to discover isn't opinion. It isn't media-driven narrative. It's evidence, gathered from those who battled alongside him, and from those who spent careers trying desperately to solve an unsolvable puzzle. Listen carefully to how quickly those answers arrive. Zero hesitation, zero reservation.
over
Nice.
all the years that you were able to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, do you dare rank a guy, and where does Nick possibly rank in that list?
Oh, there's no defenseman. I mean, I had one other defenseman, but he was in St. Louis a long time ago, Doug Harvey. He was 43, but nobody I've ever seen as good as Nick.
What sets him apart from a coaching perspective that makes him among the all-time greats?
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of stuff, but I'd say going back his hockey sense. You know, I was talking to both Barry and Dave, and I said, you know, when you think back of all the games that he played and look at his offense, I don't remember him getting caught up the ice, which is amazing. Like, I mean, you know, and a lot of good defensemen get a lot of points, but you have to take risks, and he never left his partner alone back there. He was always the guy. Sometimes his partner would leave him, but he just was so dependable. And you know, the biggest thing is he always played against the best players. That's what you got to look at players. I mean, sometimes players, they got good stats, but they're not playing against the top guys. And he always drew the toughest assignments.
Scotty, do you feel that he was one of the most easiest players to coach?
Oh yeah, Nick he had it all. Like, you know, he didn't miss many games. I don't know how many games he missed. Some of the games he missed, we were just resting him near the end of the year. So, you know, durability. I mean, you know, to play 20 or 21 seasons and not miss any length of games was another stat that you'll never be able to see again.
But you had to help.
It makes no difference whether you're asking a battle-tested 20-year veteran or a player who faced him just once. The admiration is universal. 12 All-Star selections. 10 First-Team All-NHL honors. These weren't ceremonial recognitions. They were acknowledgments from peers who understood world-class play because they embodied it themselves. And still, they regarded him as something different. Every defenseman in the NHL understands the fundamental assignment: protect your zone, support your goaltender, move the puck efficiently without taking unnecessary risks. It's a disciplined role, an unforgiving role often, but Lidstrom absorbed that traditional framework and then transcended it entirely. His defensive awareness became the gold standard, the benchmark every young defenseman was measured against.
Myself and my teammates have a lot of respect for the game, and I think you have to have. If you play at this level, you can't think you're bigger than the game or thinking that I'm a superstar. The game is still the biggest thing.
He does the same thing every day. Like his routine. I think every guy in his team can tell you exactly what he's going to do every day. His work ethic, I think, is probably what separates him. So it doesn't matter how great a season he has, you know, he doesn't rest on his laurels, I guess you could say, ever. So that allows him to be as consistent as he's been. We joke that he's the perfect human.
At his absolute peak, he averaged 0.73 points per game across his career. His plus-minus of plus 450 wasn't merely impressive, it was a mathematical testament to what occurred when he stepped onto the ice. And then there was the 2005-06 season, 80 games played, 16 goals, 64 assists, 80 points. A defensive performance so complete, so utterly dominant. It remains among the finest individual campaigns any blue liner has ever produced. Statistics tell part of the story, but they can't convey the absolute control he exerted night after relentless night. Before we continue with how opponents actually experience playing against him, if this deep dive into hockey greatness resonates with you, if you appreciate when we honor the legends who shaped this beautiful game, show some love by hitting that like button. It genuinely helps us continue telling these stories the right way.
Bertuzzi to the front of the goal. Lidstrom scores!
And I don't think it matters if you're 10 years old or if you're my age. I think you still appreciate scoring goals. You still have fun scoring goals. You know, that's what the game is all about.
It's 3-0. 17 seconds left in the first.
Boy, that goal is going to hurt Buffalo.
I think the number one most impressive thing about Nick Lidstrom is the kind of man he is. And when you see him around his family, when you see him around his teammates, when you see him in the community, how can anybody that good be that humble?
Hey, yeah. Now, Sean, hot stop. Rebound, Howard, great save. Thick head, bang it in. So if he's swinging your side, you're back in the middle.
You can detect it in their expressions, that peculiar mixture of professional frustration and genuine respect. Teams would prepare obsessively. Coaches would dissect film until patterns emerged. Game plans would be constructed with surgical precision, and then the opening face-off would occur, and those carefully laid plans would dissolve. He led NHL defensemen in scoring during multiple seasons, including his legendary 2005-06 campaign. Absorb that for a moment. In an era overflowing with elite defensive talent, he stood at the pinnacle, season after season after season. Franchises didn't simply game plan for matchups against him, they engineered entire tactical systems. Coaches designed specialized schemes with singular focus. Neutralize, Lidstrom, shadow assignments, defensive pairings built specifically to counter his influence, strategic adjustments that became standard practice across the league. And his response? A career shooting percentage just under 7% from the blue line, and countless game-changing plays that rendered those systems ineffective.
He was modest guy from Sweden, so he was actually like a very, very kind of unselfish, and he was playing the game very consistently.
I was able to play my position right and be in the right spots, and that's something I learned early on in my career, that, you know, play your position right and you can have a lot of success here.
He was fairly tall, wasn't physical, but he just had everything going for him.
Didn't really have to be taught anything. He kind of just knew how to play the game right from day one. There was no transition for him.
Containment wasn't a tactic. It was wishful thinking. Raw physical gifts earn you a roster spot. Relentless dedication builds a sustainable career. But what Lidstrom possessed was exponentially rarer. A hockey intellect that anticipated developments 2 plays ahead, while everyone else remained trapped reacting to the current moment. 878 career assists. One of the greatest totals ever recorded by a defenseman, a monument to vision so extraordinarily precise, teammates would joke he could deliver a pass through the eye of a needle while skating backwards. That anticipation, that almost supernatural awareness, it didn't merely enhance his individual performance. It forced every player sharing the ice to operate at a velocity they couldn't naturally maintain. You weren't defending against a conventional defenseman. You were attempting to outmaneuver a chess master who happened to be wearing hockey equipment. The regular season establishes hierarchy, but the Stanley Cup playoffs? That's where legacies crystallize into permanence. And when organizational pressure peaked, when franchises carried decades of expectations into every shift, Lidstrom didn't retreat into caution. He elevated.
There was times where, you know, he'd shoot the puck just to get it on net. He'd shoot the puck for a tip. And then there was times where he would shoot the puck to score. It was amazing the things that he could do.
He was always out thinking the opposition.
I think I saw him get beat one-on-one once.
I swear I've never seen him make a mistake.
He was a guy who was able to go out there if you needed a goal. He could take the puck down the ice for you.
At the end of the game, he would have 2, 3, maybe even 4 points, and you could honestly probably say you didn't really notice any flash.
Lidstrom was forged steel. And if you're still here, captivated by this journey through one man's remarkable career, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. Because we're building something special here, a place where hockey's greatest stories are told with the depth and respect they deserve. Don't just pass through, become part of this community. Respect at this magnitude isn't distributed freely. It's earned through years of playoff battles, through nights when you executed perfectly and still finished second, through the gradual understanding that the margin for error wasn't narrow. It was practically non-existent. There exists an unspoken bond among hockey players, an understood code that supersedes team allegiances. And within that brotherhood, certain names carry gravity that spreadsheets cannot quantify. Lidstrom isn't merely remembered fondly, he's studied reverently. Championships eventually fade from headlines. Records inevitably get challenged. But character, that leaves permanent imprints. Away from the spotlight's glare, Lidstrom was recognized for something no statistic could measure. Quiet, dignified leadership through example. Throughout his career, he represented excellence without ego, perfection without pretense. What you witnessed was authentically him, no manufactured personality for media consumption. Whether he was accepting the Conn Smythe Trophy or spending extra time helping young defensemen refine their craft, he remained unchanged. That genuine authenticity, it cannot be fabricated, and everyone who encountered him recognized it immediately. On March 6, 2014, his number 5 ascended to the rafters of Joe Louis Arena, retired by the Detroit Red Wings for eternity. Former teammates traveled from across the globe. Rival players who'd battled him for 2 decades crossed old competitive lines to pay homage. And for one emotional evening, an entire arena stood unified in gratitude for a career that elevated the entire sport.
Now, Homer, I'm
I'm not sure how many shots you blocked or how many goals that I scored that got disallowed because you're standing in the crease. But I do know one thing. If Homer wasn't standing there, I wouldn't have scored as many goals. So thank you very much, Homer.
We will always remember this as the night Nicklas Lidstrom's jersey was retired. It has only happened 7 times in the history of the Red Wings franchise. The night got going with a standing ovation for Vladimir Konstantinov. Always a powerful moment when the fans let Vladdy know just how much they love him. It really does send shivers. And ultimately, he was given a Dodge Ram by the Illich family. That was pretty impressive. He was also given a trip to an African safari by his teammates, former teammates, Henrik Zetterberg, Pavel Datsyuk presenting that gift along with Nicholas Kronwall. And after a number of speeches, the moment we were there for. Number 5 goes flying high up to the rafters forever. You will never forget.
In the endless stream of young defensemen who studied his positioning, who practiced his gap control until muscle memory took over, who aspired to wear number 5 because he transformed it into a symbol of defensive perfection, Nicklas Lidstrom didn't simply play hockey. He redefined an entire position. He inspired players who will inspire the next generation. And when the ultimate judgment arrives, not from commentators or algorithms, but from the players who actually competed, the conclusion stands unanimous. Before we close, if this story moved you, if it reminded you why you fell in love with hockey in the first place, leave a like and subscribe. Because these legends deserve to be remembered. Their stories deserve to be told completely. And together, we're making sure that happens. Join us. Eras conclude. Champions emerge. Legends hang up their skates. But certain names resonate across time itself. And that's precisely where Nicklas Lidstrom resides. At the absolute summit. The perfect human, number 5.
Who is the Magic Mouse?
Checking out Pavel Datsyuk.
Probably Datsyuk. He's got the best hands I've ever seen.
I gotta say Pavel Datsyuk. I was like number 13.
Nice drag ahead. When the question comes up, the answer is instant. NHL players don't need to think long about Pavel Datsyuk. Their reaction